take a look at all things money matters now. The JSE is weaker at midday trade, along with its global peers, as investors assess the effects of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on the global economy. Locally, some good news. The fourth quarter GDP has risen by 1.2%, with agriculture contributing the most to that growth. Let's reflect on these and other business stories now. We're joined by Gary Booysen. He's the portfolio manager at Rand Swiss. Gary, a good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us. So let's start with a sense of how the markets are performing so far today. Some good news with the GDP figures, but will that reflect on the index?
Yeah, a little bit of good news to the GDP, but I think largely expected, and market not reacting too positively, really tracking the moves that we're seeing internationally. So we've got the all-share index down almost 1.5%, and it's for a change being led by the resource index, which is down over 2%. The resource index has been very, very resilient over the last couple of weeks, just as commodity prices have risen based on the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. We've got the industrial index also down about 1%. Financial index that down about 1.4%. So it's pretty broad-based selling across the board. The only place you're seeing a little bit of relief is in the gold price, which is now solidly above $2,000 per ounce. And of course, those oil prices not quite at the almost $140 a barrel level that we saw on Brent crude oil yesterday, but hovering pretty steady around $125 a barrel, which is almost certainly going to feed into higher petrol prices to come.
Let's focus on the good, at least for today. So South Africa's annual real GDP increasing by 4.9% in 2021, following a decrease of 6.4% the previous year. Some improvement. Any surprises there?
As I said, mostly in line with expectations. So it was a little bit light on the quarter-on-quarter numbers. So we were expecting 1.2%, at least 1.3% increase. We only got a 1.2% increase. But overall, very, very much in line with what the market was expecting. Just a rebound from the civil unrest that had affected the previous period's numbers. And as you said, forestry and fishing up 12.2%, which was really the leading segment. About half the segments, so 5 out of 10 segments showed expansion in output, so it was also decent manufacturing numbers. Personal services also up about 2.7%, but interestingly, mining down around 3.1%, just on lower output in gold and coal, even with those higher prices that we've been experiencing. Construction also down around 2.2%, so mixed bag. The headline number obviously showing a record increase. It's the biggest GDP jump we've had in 14 years, but of course that coming off a very low base in 2020, thanks to the COVID pandemic.
Let's take a look at company news. Grocery retailer Shoprite has reported a 25.5% rise in their first half profits. Talk us through that performance.
No, it's an absolutely outstanding performance from Shoprite. So you're looking for positive news. This is a bright spot on the JSE today. So with all the red that we're seeing on the screens, the Shoprite share price actually up over 3% on the back of this announcement. So 25% increase in first half profits. And even though they were affected by the civil unrest, they had 231 stores that were affected. It seems that this retailer is just unstoppable. So they're really making inroads into the upper and middle segments of the market, and they managed to take market share from the likes of Woolies, and just proving what a slick operator they are. I mean, we had Massmart numbers out earlier in the week, blaming everything from civil unrest to COVID, lockdowns and disruption on liquor ban, but Shoprite largely unaffected, and just showing the quality of the company. So yes, a little bit of a bright spot, and I think one of the things that I picked up in the numbers is just how they're leveraging tech through Shoprite X. I mean, many people know the Checkers 6060 app. Just seems a long way ahead of the other grocery retailers and gaining proper traction.
To your point, let's keep up the good news. MTN Uganda reporting its mobile subscribers growing by 10%. Help us make sense of how they fared.
Certainly another bright spot on the market. So while we have Sasol down almost 4% after they kind of highlighted to the market that they've been hedging oil, MTN is trading almost like an oil company because of its exposure to places like Uganda and Nigeria. So the stock up over 3% at the moment, and as you said, those Uganda numbers just outstanding. Subscribers lifting to 15.7 million in Uganda, and this is also boosted by much higher data revenue from the company as it aggressively rolled out 3G and 4G networks derivatives in the country. Obviously, with it's kind of leveraged effect to oil prices, with oil at $120 a barrel, that's actually helping to boost MTN because of its operations in places like Nigeria.
Thank you very much for helping us make sense of the latest market moves.